To start off, what is the definition of behavior? In the context of biology, behavior can be defined as an action carried out by muscles or glands under the control of the nervous system in response to an environmental cue or stimuli. Behaviors are under the control of genes as well as other environmental factors. Behavior helps to control learning, memory, internal clocks, and courtship and mating. Some other helpful terms to note are proximate causes, or the immediate mechanisms of behavior, and ultimate causes, the evolutionary explanations for behavior. So what are the different types of behavior? Innate behavior is under genetic control. It consists of actions performed virtually every time a stimulus is received. These actions are also performed the same way each time and are commonly expressed by all individuals in a population. An example of this type of behavior is how spiders know how to spin their webs without having to be taught. This can be very important for animals, as it means they know how to do basic skills in order for them to survive without having to have been taught. An example of this in humans is a baby's sucking reflex. Without it, babies would not be able to survive, as they would not be able to drink their mother's milk. The next type of behavior is fixed action behaviors. Such is triggered by a stimulus and consists of an unchangeable series of events and actions that must be completed to their entirety. An example of this type of behavior occurs in infants. Babies instinctively grab onto things. For example, to grab onto a rope in order to keep themselves from falling. Such behaviors are evolutionarily beneficial as they increase the organism's survival chances. Lastly, we have agnostic behavior, which is essentially competition or fighting behavior. An example of this is if an animal wants to assert dominance or win over or impress a potential mate. In my next video, I talk about a very interesting example of such a behavior. So what? What's the importance of such behaviors? Well, such behaviors are evolutionarily beneficial as they increase the chances that a human or other organism has of survival. The next important concept of animal behavior is the concept of animal movement, which is exactly what it sounds like. In response to a stimuli, an animal moves in a directed way, either kinesis or random movement, or taxis, a directed response. A great example of kinesis occurs in cockroaches. When stimulated by a source of light, cockroaches don't crowd around the light, but instead they scatter around in random movements. Taxis can either be positive or negative. In positive taxis, organisms move towards the source of stimulation. An example of this is how fruit flies are attracted to bright lights. In negative taxis, they move away. An example of this also in fruit flies is how they move against gravity, or for example, climbing up the sides of the container that they are stored in. In the category of conscious responses, there is also altruism, or helpful behavior of the members in a community to achieve success for the greater good. Success can consist of effective foraging, with the maximum energy gained with the least amount of energy expended, communication, or courtship. These tendencies of working towards the greater good of the community would have been very helpful to early humans, as our ancestors learned that cooperation was a better strategy for everyone. These are the strategies that define us as human beings. Now that you've learned about animal behavior, check out my next video to learn an interesting example.